Hello, hope you're having an amazing day. Today I want to share some great news that Wix just announced, and I think this is going to be really cool for anyone that's looking to improve their website, change the design, and potentially, or maybe do some new projects for clients, whatever the reason is. Again, this is gonna be really cool. So I'm gonna share two good news, and then I'm gonna share with you some tips on how to have a better experience with Wix Studio. So the first one is now Wix has announced that it's gonna be able to work with Figma. So if we go into this, it's gonna be Figma to Wix Studio, meaning that if you have designs on Figma that you wanna bring to Wix, it's going to be very easy to just import into your Wix website and specifically to Wix Studio. The coolest thing about this is that if you're working on a new project, I'm going to share with you something that it's going to be very useful. And pretty much, let's say this is your Figma account, you already created it, it's free if you're not doing too many complex things, so you can just create it. If you go here on the left side panel, once you're on your new project, you're gonna go to plugins, and then you're gonna go to manage plugins, and right here you can just type HTML to design, and it's gonna be the first one, to design. Okay, and it's gonna be this one. The cool thing about this is that, let's say if you have seen a website that you really like, and this we're gonna use as an example. Let's say there's some things here that you really like and you want to use it for your new project. You can copy this link, right? Or if you are you're creating a new website for a client that already has, let's say, their website built somewhere else, but you want to save a little bit of time because let's say they just want exactly the same thing, then this is also going to be very useful. Once you go to Figma, here you're gonna paste your link, and then you're gonna click import. So once you do this, it's gonna pretty much bring the whole design from that page specifically that you added. So each page you will have to do the same thing, and from there you can do your own touches, edit, remove, add, and it brings, if you can find the same font, Figma will let you know. So once you see this, you can just close this, and as you can see, this is the design. And if I click on this section, then as you can see, now I can move things around. I can completely change what it looks like. Let's say I don't like this section and I want to move this one up here, then it's gonna be super cool because now you can adjust anything. So again, this is gonna be very, very exciting to use, and it's probably gonna be released by June. Hopefully, if you go to this link, I'll have it in the description, you'll see it's gonna be around June, but this year. You can also sign up so you get notified when it's available. But don't worry, I'll make another video once it's ready, and I'll show you how to use it. The other thing that's really cool, these news are for realtors. So if you're a realtor or you have clients that have websites in Wix and they want to have the MLS into the Wix website, now it's possible through the IDX using an app from IHome Finder. So if you go to your apps and you type IHome, it's gonna be IHome Finder. It's gonna be this one right here. Whenever you add it to the website, automatically it's gonna create the pages for you. So I'm gonna show you what kind of it looks like. So the design is way nicer than what you could normally have. They can also add or remove listings directly from their MLS. So it's, again, really cool. There's different pages right now, because this is just a demo, it's gonna give you this little error, but again, you can pretty much have customize this through the app. The best part is that because it's a deal between Wix and IHome Finder, you get a better price. I think the lowest is like 85 per month compared to some IDX that go for like $150 to $100 per month. So that's also a really cool thing that your client can save some money, but it is able to connect their MLS using the IDX on Wix. So now that you know that, let's get started. And let me close this right here. So again, I'm gonna share with you some cool things that's gonna help you improve your experience with Wix. And as you go to your Wix Studio page, you're gonna notice right away the 3 breakpoints that are automatically added whenever you're working on a website. And this is important to know because this is gonna make your life easier if you understand what the breakpoints do, how they work. So each breakpoint has what's called a minimum and a maximum of pixels that it's gonna expand. So knowing this is when you're on the editor, what you see right now and what you edit, maybe it's not gonna be exactly the same thing when you look it up on a bigger screen, because a lot of the things will expand depending on how you set your elements on the page. So that's why, again, it's important to know what's the max and the minimum, so that way you know how to adjust each thing, so you don't have any ugly moves once you start going into live for your website. So as you can see, first we're gonna start with the header here. You're gonna notice I added some padding right here. Normally it will be like on 0. And what I like to do is any new section that I work with, I want to add a padding of at least 5%. Of course, you can do more than that. But what this does is that any element that you add inside your section, it won't pass that, even if the docking, what's a docking? Docking is an element that you add and then it gets attached to the walls on the left side, on the top or the bottom. So it's good to have the padding, so that way things don't get to the end and it looks ugly. The other thing is whenever you're adding elements, the ones that I recommend using if you're planning to have multiple sections and having things to overlap is to use the CSS Grid. So I'm gonna give you an example of why I like it. So if I add this here, right, I can first add the padding. So I'll do 5%. And then you could use a column, which is really cool. And the cool thing about columns is also automatically adjusts. But the thing is that if you try to put on top of it, it will attach to one or the other. But with the CSS Grid, you can still accomplish everything, plus things can be overlapped. So if I expand this CSS Grid that I just added, and then I'm gonna make it clear. So if I go here and I add an image, so let's say we add an image right here, and I expand it, it's gonna be inside there, and I can add another one right here. So let's use this one, and let's change this image so that way you can see what I'm talking about. And then I can expand it, right? Now I'm gonna add a text. So if I add a text right here, I can just attach it right here to the whole section rather than just one or the other. If this was a column, it will be attached to one or the other, but in this case I can keep in the middle, and then as my design progress, things will stay in the same place. See that? So that's something cool to use. And again, this is a quick this is a quick tip that's gonna help you make your life easier. Now before I go to the actual live, I want to share with you something else. As you click on edit text, you're gonna notice right here you have this right here, which is a max minimum, and then you can tell it to be the max, let's say 70, and then the minimum, usually I'll go to the breakpoint of the mobile, and I'll see what it will look like at this. Maybe we can even get away with 40 and adjust this. So perfect. So my minimum, I'm gonna do 40 because I see it's gonna look good. Okay, so I go there. Perfect. So now when I go to the actual live website, you'll see it's gonna look good. See, and as you remember, what I was doing here is on the editor doesn't look exactly the same as once you're on the live. So I could even do bigger text because that's too small. So I might even do like 100, and then I can do refresh here and it will expand. See, so now it looks a little bit better. The other thing is you can also play with the responsive behavior here. So each section, so an example, this one right now, it's called scale proportionally. So as the page expands, it will also scale as we have it set, but I can also use this other one, which is custom scale, and I can also use something like this. And if we go here, you'll see what's gonna do. And as you start learning how to use these elements, you're gonna start learning what to use more, right? So you're gonna get comfortable with certain things. But as you can see here, I can expand it and it doesn't change much other than when I go to a smaller screen. So now we can go here. If I use wrap, usually I don't like it much because it will, let me actually show you so you'll see what I'm talking about. The layout, yeah, it gets, somehow it doesn't behave the way I want it, because it's supposed to go according to the size of the screen, see? So it goes like that. So, but again, in some elements is good because it's gonna work, but in some don't. If you use fix, it won't change. The whole page is gonna stay the same, see? And if I go to even like a smaller screen, it won't change much. But I have it right here on 20, so I can even do 40. And now it's like that. So, and if I go here, I can go to, see, so it stays the same. It didn't change much. So again, this is something that you can play with. So again, I'll use scale proportionally, and I use the maximum of like 100, and then I'll do a minimum of 40, and then I'll keep it like that. Then the next thing that it's also good to know whenever you're building or designing a new site, whenever you add a new section, okay, there are things that you can also keep in mind. Whenever you add an image, so let's say I do this image right here. I don't know why it's not my favorite, but that's the easiest there. You can also play with how you want this to go, okay? So you can do a section, and then the other cool thing about this is that you can decide where you want the focus to be as the website start expanding. So that's something that also can help you have a nicer or better design. If you go here, you're gonna adjust that, and then on the last one, I'll just expand it like that. So I can go like that, and as you can see, that's how it will expand. But if you don't like that, you can always adjust this, and then it will stay the same shape so you don't have to worry about like turning into something kind of ugly. The other thing about whenever you're using Wix Studio, it's understanding the layout tools, okay, or elements. So one thing I will say is, for some reason, this is gonna happen at one point the more you use in Wix. So I'm gonna share with you this thing right here. So this element has already some things, right? So you have the tabs, so you can manage how many tabs you have. But one thing that will happen is if you delete any of the elements inside this, now this minimize, and if you try to expand it, you won't do anything, and you're gonna start thinking like, did Wix broke? What happened, right? So whenever this happens, you want to go here and turn advanced sizing, okay? And then once you do advanced sizing, you can do an expand here. As you can see, you can do 400, and now it expanded to what you need it to be. I don't know why it does that, but again, these are things that I'm sharing with you because at one point you're gonna need these elements and you're gonna be like confused and not understand like if it's something broken with Wix, or I don't know if even this is a glitch, but this is something that happens, and instead of you struggling, now you know how to fix those things. So that's the thing. Then I'm gonna share with you the other stuff that you have here, which is gonna be the where do you go? Okay, the slideshow repeaters. So something that Wix did that I didn't like much for Wix Studio, but again, you get used to it, is that whenever you add a repeater, okay, so a slideshow and a repeater technically are the same thing. So if I go here to a repeater, and let's say I add a repeater, right, you can set how many elements you're gonna have on each of the cards, but I'm gonna show you what else is gonna happen. So if you do a list, it's gonna change the layout, but technically a repeater now it's a slideshow. So if I go here on the section, let me go here, okay, so if we go to the repeater, if I do slider, okay, now you have this right here. So your slider, your repeater becomes a slider, so you can go from left to right. But what happens is when you edit in this, you're like, wait, how do I access? If you want to just change something on that, what I would do is you go to preview, move to that section that you need to edit, and now you can edit that. So that's something again that for some reason, I don't know if it's a glitch or that's just part of how it is, but that's how you can adjust your repeater. So if you're new building on Wix Studio, again, these things are definitely going to help you a lot. And then let me see what other stuff would be helpful is, oh yes, content forms. So this is huge, okay? Whenever you're using a new contact form, if you go to your dashboard, okay, before you were gonna be getting your messages right here on the inbox section, okay? But if you're using the new Wix form, you're not gonna see it right here. It's automatically gonna be going to the forms and submissions. So you have to once you add a form, this is where it's gonna come. So you're not gonna be able to see it on the inbox unless you use one of the classic forms, which is this one right here. Again, for some reason, I don't know why they haven't changed that, and I'm guessing it's gonna stay like that for a while. So that's the last thing I wanted to share with you. Hopefully this video bring you some value. Let me know in the comments if there's something specific you want to know. But again, the whole point of the video was more to share how excited I was about Figma. but also give you a few more tips so you're not wasting your time watching this video. So I'll see you in the next one. If you have questions, again, feel free to send me a comment. I'm gonna be very happy to help you on anything you need.